Hey folks, Brendan here from Blue Light, and today I want to answer a question for you which may be on your mind if you are of a certain age. So you've got this dream that you want to join the police. Actually, you might be like Owen. So Owen in the Blue Light Facebook group, in the Police Recruitment Facebook group, asked this question of everyone because he thought he was too old. He thought the police may not want him. What he said was, I'm 48 years old, I work for the Border Force, I've got a huge amount of life experience, and I'd like to change my career and join the police. Owen, what is there not to like about your life, who you are, where you are in your life? You've just got to know where you are now, where you want to be, and how to get there. So if I can share with you that the police absolutely do want people from all sorts of different backgrounds. Just last week I had someone contact me, actually, they called me and just said, look, Brendan, I'm not sure if I'm the sort of person that the police want. I'm in my 50s. Now, she's only 52, I think it's 52 or 53 years young. She's certainly younger than me. Of course they want you. She said, well, I'm only going to be able to do a few years. I've got to retire at 60. So, and you bring a huge amount of life experience with you that is going to be so valuable to the police service. And listen, they're not allowed to discriminate based on age. It's against the law. And if any force was doing that, they would get whistle blown straight out of the water. But they wouldn't do that anyway. Now, some of you might have this misconception that they're just looking for young, bright things who are aged 18, 19 years old. Well, yes, they are. They are looking for people who are at the younger end. Depending on the force, some forces might be quite overt in how they're looking for people who are at the younger end of the age spectrum. West Midlands Police is an example of that, and they legally can do that because they are underrepresented by young people. So the Chief Constable Dave Thompson, worked with him as a sergeant years ago. Got to say, he was always going to be a chief. He's already made it clear that I am looking for people from all sorts of different backgrounds, particularly, and then they list off certain underrepresented groups, and younger people is one of them. But that doesn't mean to say you're going to get discriminated against. Absolutely not, because you bring with you so much life experience, so much maturity. You're a role model already within your community. If you're not, by the time you're in your 40s, then you shouldn't be joining the police anyway if you're not a role model. If you've not put yourself out there as a role model, if you've not developed yourself, then yeah, you probably will get rejected, but nothing to do with your age. It's just due to the fact that you've done nothing with your life. The police are looking for people who've got character. Strong characters, actually, because strong characters can stand up for themselves. But what they're really looking for are the stronger characters, because it's the stronger character who stands up for those who can't stand up for themselves. Do you like that? That's what they're looking for. And that's what tends to happen as you get a bit older. You become a little bit more resilient. You become a little more capable of standing up for yourself, but also you become more capable of standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves. Now, that's not to say that people who are at the younger end of the application spectrum can't stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves, but it suggests that those people with more life experience are more likely to be able to, because they've got so many more resources in terms of life experience that they can rely on. And that's why the police want people from all sorts of different backgrounds. And some of you may be thinking, well, I'll have to do a degree. I'm not very academic. Great. If you've not done a degree before, this is your opportunity to get a degree, and someone else is going to pay for it for you. And trust me, it won't be that academic. There will be some academic requirement, but it's not that different to what you used to do before. It's just that there's a few more essays involved, and perhaps a small dissertation and a few more exams. And it's over a 3-year period. And you get time off to do it. Listen, you're getting paid to get a degree, no matter what age you are in your life. I mean, how amazing is that? So let me just share with you, just to reassure you that the police do want people from all sorts of different backgrounds. Let me tell you the story of, I'm not going to use his real name because you might identify him. His name's John. Let's just call him John. He came to me 8 years ago. He was one of my first clients, 7 or 8 years ago, one of my very first clients when I started doing this, as I started to transition out of the police into a career of supporting people to join the police. one of over 5,000 actually, but he's one I remember. It really sticks in my mind because, you see, John was a self-made millionaire. He'd already been in the military. He'd had an outstanding career in the military. He'd already served his country. He'd already been a servant of Her Majesty the Queen, a crown servant. And he retired from the military. He retired from the military. So he already had a pension from the military. He went out and built up a business. And he later sold that business for bazillions. Well, it wasn't quite that many, but it certainly made him a millionaire. And his time was just spent playing golf, taking the dog for a walk, enjoying life, enjoying the fruits of his labour. But the thing is, there's always something niggling at him. Because that old cliche of you've only got one life to live, well, he knew that. And one of his childhood dreams was to join the military and serve Her Majesty the Queen. And he excelled at that. But his other dream was to be a police officer. And this had never left him. He'd always fancied the idea of being a police officer. And so he came to me aged 57. And this was a one time he had to do it, because if he didn't get in at 57, he would be too old. Because you can only work until you're 60 in the police, and the police can legitimately say they want more than 2 years out of you, because your first 2 years will be spent in training. Actually, that'd be 3 now. So at 57, if you're 56, 57, unless you can go in under the old method, which doesn't exist much anymore, then 57 really is when you need to be going in. I don't think any forces have changed that, by the way, but I've just worked that out. Just as I'm saying it, I've just worked that out. Anyway, so John came to me and I coached him through the process, and he passed everything first time. Next time I heard from him was a photograph of him proudly wearing Her Majesty's uniform as a police officer, with a load of medals across his chest. Oh my goodness. Well deserved, well deserved. Next time I heard from him, it was for him to tell me I've retired from the police. I had an awesome time, an awesome 2 years. I realised my dream, and thank you. And what he said also was that his maturity and his life experience brought a huge amount of value to the service, a huge amount of value to his team. And although he only had 2 years service or less, other team members looked up to him for his character, for his strength of resolve and character and his values that he developed over the years. So that's valuable. What made me smile though was at the end of the conversation when he said, I've had an awesome 2 years. It's just absolutely incredible. I've achieved my dream. Thank you, Brendan. It couldn't have happened without you. And do you know what? I've even got a pension. This guy was a millionaire. He did not need 2 years worth of police pension, but it kind of tickled him that he was going to get a pension out of it. Listen, he didn't even need to work, full stop. So I know that's a bit of an extreme, and there's probably not many of you who are millionaires knocking around listening and watching to this video, but for me it just kind of reassures me that yes, the police do want you, Owen. They want you. What you've just described briefly there is a huge amount of life experience. You've just got to know where you are now, where you want to be, and importantly, how to get there. So folks, I hope this has been useful for you. I'll put a couple of links below to some things that you might find interesting that might help you get from where you are now to where you want to be. And I'll catch up with you soon. Bye bye for now.